Welcome to this lesson. So, in this very video, our today's quiz, you know, is is based under the concept which says Precedenza Incrocio. So, Precedenza Incrocio in English, we are simply talking about the transit of vehicles in a junction. So this is what regulate the transit of vehicles in junction. It's simply talking about the appropriate way to transit whenever you are in a junction. So whenever you come across this question, which is presidential encroacher. So some of the things you must take into proper consideration is number one. So the vehicle to transit first. So in a situation like this, how do you do it and how do you calculate it? So you always calculate it from your right, which means the vehicle in which is the right hand side is free always transit first. So you transit when your right hand side is free. So in a junction like this, whenever you see something like this, so if you want to calculate, you know, uh, if you want to calculate something like this, so the vehicle that the right hand side is free transit first. So now, take for instance, we have number one question. Before we read the question, in a situation like this, if you want to know which vehicle will transit first, how do you do it? Now, we have over three vehicles here. All these three vehicles, they are in a junction. But the question here is, in a situation like this, which vehicle will transit first? So how do you calculate it? Now, let's start from vehicle S. If you take a look at vehicle S, which is the blue vehicle, now let's look at the right hand side. Looking at the right hand side, in other words, we are looking at this side. Now, if you look at the right hand side, there is no vehicle coming from this side. There is no vehicle coming from this way. And there is no vehicle coming from this way. Which means vehicle S, will be the one to transit first. Why? Because the right hand side is free. So in a situation like this, vehicle S will transit first. So after vehicle S, now let's come to N. If you take a look at it, when S transit, automatically here is now free. There is no vehicle coming from this side again. There is no vehicle coming from this side again. There is no vehicle coming from this side again. And now remember, the right hand side of vehicle N is here. So if there is no vehicle coming from this side, automatically, which means vehicle N, the right hand side of vehicle N is free. So seconded with vehicle N will transit. So after vehicle N will not transit, automatically, so there is no vehicle here again, there is no vehicle here again, there is no vehicle here again, there is no vehicle here. Now, every side is now free, which means lastly, vehicle C will not transit. Now, let us take a look at the question. The question says, nell'incrocio rappresentato nella figura, il veicolo N transito dopo il veicolo C e dopo the veicolo S. Now, what are they saying? They are saying that in a junction, so represented in this form, in this manner. So they are trying to say that in a situation like this, say vehicle N will transit after vehicle C. So after vehicle C, then and after vehicle S. So is it true? No, it's not true. Because in a situation like this, vehicle S is supposed to transit first. After vehicle S, vehicle N, then thereafter vehicle C. So for that reason, since the question is saying that vehicle N will transit after the transition of vehicle C and after the transition of vehicle S. So for that reason, it's not true. So the answer to this question is false. You can see it. It's false. Because the question said that vehicle N will transit after vehicle C and after vehicle S. But it's supposed to be that vehicle S will transit first. So thereafter vehicle N will transit, and thereafter, lastly, vehicle C will transit. So this is the reason why this very one is false. So take note of that. So again, we have another question. Now, if you look at this very one, we have three vehicles here. We have three vehicles here. So the question is, in these three vehicles that we have in this very junction, which vehicle, will transit first? Is it vehicle B? Is it vehicle H? Is it vehicle C? Now take a look at it. If you want to calculate this, now let's start from vehicle H. Now always calculate this from the right hand side. So the one that have free space in the right hand side be the first vehicle to transit first. Now if you take a look at a situation like this, now let's take a look at vehicle H. Vehicle H, if you look at the right side of vehicle H, so there is a vehicle B transiting, which means the right side of vehicle H is not free. Vehicle H cannot transit first. Now let's go to vehicle C. If you take a look at vehicle C, the right hand side of vehicle C is occupied with vehicle H. Here's the right hand side of vehicle C. So vehicle C cannot transit because the right hand side of vehicle C is occupied with vehicle H. Now let's go to B. Now the right hand side of vehicle C is here. Vehicle B. The right hand side of vehicle B, which is the red vehicle, is here, autobus. Now this vehicle B, so if you take a look at the right hand side, there is no vehicle coming from this side. The right hand side is free. So automatically in a situation like this, vehicle B will be the first vehicle to transit first. So thereafter, vehicle H will not transit because by the time this vehicle B transit, automatically the right hand side of vehicle H so automatically becomes free. So thereafter, the second vehicle to transit here is vehicle H, the blue vehicle. So lastly, thereafter vehicle C will not transit. Now let us look at the question. So the question says, nella situazione rappresentata in figura, il veicolo H passa per primo. So he's saying that in a situation like this, that the vehicle H, which is this very one, the blue vehicle, be the one to transit first. So vero or false? The answer to this question is false, because you can see it. In a situation like this, vehicle B supposed to be the first go to transit. So thereafter, followed by H, then followed by C. So since the question says that the vehicle H should be the first vehicle to transit first, and is not true, because vehicle B is supposed to be the first vehicle to transit, not vehicle H. So for that reason, the answer to this question is false, because vehicle B is supposed to be the first vehicle to transit first. So followed by vehicle H, there lastly followed by vehicle C. So take note of that. So we have another question again. Now, if you look at this very junction, we have three vehicles in this very junction. So in a situation like this, so which vehicle will transit first? So now let's start with vehicle C. If you take a look at vehicle C, the right hand side of vehicle C is occupied with vehicle A. Now let's go to vehicle A. If vehicle A wants to transit, it can't transit because the right hand side of vehicle A is occupied with vehicle arrow. Now let's go back to vehicle arrow. If vehicle arrow wants to transit, now the right hand side of vehicle arrow is free because there is no vehicle coming from this side. Here is very free. Here is the right hand side of vehicle arrow. There is no vehicle coming from this side. But if you take a look at the situation of vehicle C, in vehicle C there is a vehicle coming from the right hand side, which is vehicle A, and for that reason it cannot transit. So if you take a look at the situation of vehicle A is occupied with vehicle R because the right hand side, there is vehicle R coming from the right hand side of vehicle A. Here is the right hand side. Why vehicle R is free? Because the right hand side, there is no vehicle transiting. So in a situation like this, vehicle R will transit first. So when vehicle R transit automatically, so vehicle A, so we now have a free space, because by the time this vehicle R transit, so here will now become an empty space, which means, vehicle A will now follow. So lastly, vehicle C will now follow. Now let us read the question to know. It says, secondo le norme de precedenza nel Incrocio rappresentato in figura, il veicolo A passa per primo. Il veicolo A passa per primo. So it says, in a situation like this, trying to give way in a junction like this, it says in this very kind of situation, so vehicle A will be the one to transit first. Vehicle A will be the one to pass first before other vehicle will follow. Vero or falso? So the answer to this question is falso. Let's see. You can see this falso. Why is it falso? Now, let's go to this vehicle A, because the question said that vehicle A is the first vehicle that will transit first before other vehicle. Now, if you take a look at vehicle A, you will see that the right hand side is occupied with vehicle R. So for that reason, vehicle A is not the first vehicle to transit first. The first vehicle to transit first is vehicle R, so followed by vehicle A, while the last one that will transit is vehicle C. So if the question says that vehicle R is the first vehicle to transit, and in a situation like this is vero. Why? Because the right hand side of vehicle R is free. There is no vehicle transiting. But it says vehicle A is the first vehicle to transit. So for that reason, the answer to this question is false. So take note of that. So the last one is this. So this very one is, there is one thing I want you to take note of. So in a situation like this very one is known as tran. So in every junction, whenever you come across something like this, tran is the first to transit, so followed by other vehicles. In a situation like this, so tran is the first to transit, so thereafter before other vehicles. Now in a situation like this, tran will transit, which is vehicle, this one that have T, you can see it, tran. So in a situation like this, tran will transit first. So thereafter that, so now let's go to vehicle A. If you take a look at the right side of vehicle A, here is occupied with vehicle O. So for that reason, vehicle A cannot transit. Now take a look at vehicle O. If you take a look at vehicle O, the right hand side of vehicle O, there is no vehicle coming from this side. In a situation like this, after the transition of vehicle T, vehicle O will now follow. So thereafter, before vehicle A will now follow. Now let us read the question. It says, secondo le norme di precedenza nel incrocio. It says, secondo le norme di precedenza nel incrocio rappresentato in figura, il veicolo T deve attendere il transito del veicolo O. Now, what are they trying to say here? They are saying that in a situation like this, vehicle T has to wait for the transition of vehicle O. Remember, I told you that, in a situation like this, tran will always transit. In any junction that you find tran is always first vehicle to transit. Other vehicle give way for tran to transit. So now the question is not saying, opposite. The question is now saying that vehicle T, which is the tran, should attend the transition of vehicle O. In other words, vehicle T, which is the tran have to wait for vehicle O to transit first. So for that reason, the answer to this question is false. You can see it is false. So in a situation like this, tran will transit first, so followed by vehicle O, then lastly followed by vehicle A. So this is where we are ending our lesson of today. So please do remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and if you have yet to click on the notification button. Please try and do that so that whenever we have any video available, you will always be notified. So see you in our next class, hopefully to to explain more of this in our next class. Thanks for watching our video. Bye.